The Blue Cross. Each man had a keen eye for results to their predicament, a logical mind that sees patterns, connections, and asks essential questions and lead each to a result which they saw fit for themselves. But how did they common in them make them far from different to each other? What led on genius to his victory and on the other to his defeat?
Flambeau wasn't an easy target. He had escaped once by a pair of nail scissors, and once by a house on fire, once by having to pay for an stampede later, and once by getting people to look through a telescope at a comet that might destroy the world. All these stunts show his creativity for his craft. He did every escape only once, making sure not to leave a mark, to be known as a regular final. It would take yet another creative mind to solve the puzzle he left behind.
With not leads to follow, Valentine started his adventure when he calmly and carefully followed the train of unreasonable thinking. The eyes of both Pursuer and Pursuer have caught the same oddity. He resolved to strike at random. This kind of thinking brought him to more odd events which he took for clues. He found mixed up signs of nuts and oranges, rotting apples from a grocer's stand, a restaurant's broken window, and a parcel left in a sweet shop, all of which includes the presence of two clergymen, which brought him to the end of the case, where he fully understood how the crime was committed.
Father Brown had his brilliant mask, well in his great man outfit and all mannerisms, which proved from bowing to disbelief that he was tricked by Brown. I don't believe a bumpkin like you can manage all that. He revealed his intellect when he went on to the house to test Flambeau, when he started to doubt. A man generally makes a small scene if he finds salt in his coffee, if he doesn't have some reason for it keeping quiet. It, I change the salt and sugar, and you keep quiet. A man generally objects if his bill is 3 times too big. If he pays it, he has some motive for passing unnoticed.
Since Flambeau wouldn't leave any tracks for the police, Brown took it upon himself to do so. He did things that would leave the people talking about them for the rest of the day in every place they went to. Splash walls, split apples, and broken windows. It is now apparent that all the clues Valentine followed were left by Father Brown.
Valentine had decided that the universal darkness of his mind he can only follow the first odd finger that pointed. We can infer from this statement that he thinks of the facts, perhaps, and the reason why he was so successful in his investigation that they brought him respect from the public. What made him different from the other two was his heart of justice. He knew the man he pursued well, and he tried to look with a criminal's eye, avoiding the unusual passage and the places that the person may take. He was decided to bring justice to Flambeau for all the mischief he committed. True Valentine had a quick mind. He was but a follower in this case.
The crime was very clear to Valentine that Flambeau, who was disguised as a priest, had been trying to steal the shepherd crows. But as Valentine thought about what happened that day, like what everything had to do with a soup of on the wall or mixed signs, he thought, here he had grasped the criminal, but he could not grasp the clue.
Father Brown intentionally left clues that left a place taken about the clergyman for the whole day. His clues served as a random inspiration for the Valentine, who was in need of clues to pursue. He considered that the criminal is the creative artist, the detective only the critic. He knew that he needed something to follow to get a Flambeau. He needed to have his eye and mind open for any clue, sign, puzzle, or unusual occurrence that may be of help. It would have been so much harder for him to pursue Flambeau had not Father Brown left clue for him. Geniuses like Valentine have great thinking mind, but they are also human who may need all times where there is an encouragement, praise, inspiration, or correction.
Flambeau was a master of deception and fashioning crimes thought a part of him remained in measure. He slid to his vanity of judging Father Brown because of how he looked, calling the latter of celibate simpleton. I call it vanity because Flambeau miscalculated the fact that the man who was carrying the cross may be as brilliant as he is or may be cunning than him. He planned the crime having considered solely his own strengths. Thus, having what he called a celibate simpleton defeat him on his own game.
Father Brown unintentionally masked his awesome deductive skills with his clumsiness and humbly breast-clothed. He is a gentleman, while others have really cool stuff or strangely good looks, and if will of father does not possess, his great mind was praised with a pure heart that makes room for forgiveness, compassion, and second chance. Oh, you can have gone so very wrong yet, is an statement that says it all. Flambeau was well known for his mischief, and any man other than Father Brown may not see otherwise.
It was a good balance between his heart and mind that made Brown's victory complete. He neither ridiculed Flambeau nor boasted of his own intelligence. His brilliance was a fact of life. It was a part of him, but not fully him. He was daily exposed to the reality of evil. A man who thus takes nothing to but hear men's real sins, it is not like to be wholly unaware of human evil, but knowing this does not stop him to believe that there is a way of weaknesses for them.